Welcome to AMN From the Floor, AAPEX 2024. We are coming to you from the Babcocks on the go at the show broadcast studio presented by Aishin. I'm your host, Jason Morgan, Director of Content, Babcocks Media. Great show for you today. We got headlines from the floor. We got booth visits from the floor. We have surprise special guests. But first, we were at the AAPEX opening reception. Emma Henderson, AMN Managing Editor and Producer, was there mic in hand to find out what people are excited about this year. Let's check in with Emma.
That's right, Jason. We are at the AAPEX opening reception, and this week there's expected to be more than 100,000 people that come through these doors. Take a look at everything that the aftermarket has to offer. You can take a look behind me and see people are already starting to enjoy the week. What do you think the hottest topic in the aftermarket is right now?
There's a lot of topics on data analytics and AI, and there's things and meetings that we'll be a part of this week, which is important for us to be ahead of.
Absolutely. And what are you most looking forward to at AAPEX?
Just being around all the people. This party right here just engages to the rest of it. I mean, getting around people again, it's been a while, so I enjoy being here every year.
What are you most looking forward to at AAPEX this year?
At AAPEX? Oh my gosh. Well, okay, obviously that I get to meet and interview Erin Andrews in the morning, and that she gets to meet me, of course. No, I'm just teasing. I'm teasing. That and the entire Women in Auto Care Wednesday. That is always my highlight, my favorite. It's the Women in Auto Care Super Bowl, where we really get to showcase the ladies that are a part of this industry. So that is where my passion is. We're growing more and more in this industry. So, I mean, 20 years ago when I took over my shop, I felt like I was the only one. And today I come to these events and I realize that I am no longer that. So becoming a veteran is sad, but it is really nice to see so many young women entering this industry and really loving and embracing it.
Well, for one, it's networking. Also allows us to meet, our customers, which we don't get to see all the time as we want to. But more importantly, in our case, tell our story, showcase our technologies.
What do you think the hottest topic in the aftermarket is right now?
I don't think there's one hot topic. I think we have multiple hot topics. I mean, legislation-wide, right to repair is the hot topic of the industry, but then product-wise, is, I think, looking at ADAS, that's a category which is, I think, more and more coming. Software-defined vehicles, maybe not yet, but also getting into that direction. So a lot of on the technology side, what is changing there, on the OE side, and how do we bring that to the aftermarket?
Right to repair. Right to repair. We need to get that passed. It's so important for the future of the industry. I've been in this industry for 20 years, and so my family and all coworkers' family depend on this, and so for me, that's the biggest issue. It's a topic that we all should be talking about and how to make it happen.
Well, I've been coming to AAPEX now for the last 16 years, and I've been building friendships and network. So for me, coming to AAPEX is to shake hands with friends that I already know and to be able to make more friends, grow my network.
If you could choose what the hottest topic in the aftermarket is right now, what would you say?
That is a tough one. I mean, there's so many out there, but I would say probably AI is one of those hot topics, how to use it in a service center, how to use it in your everyday business, how to use it for your personal needs. So AI is probably my hot topic for the industry.
I think still the hottest topic right now for me is where are we going with electrification, right? As far as the vehicles go, some manufacturers are slowing down their production, some are going all in, and some are still tipping their toes in the water.
Well, as you can see, there are a lot of ideas out here in the aftermarket and a lot of different perspectives on what is most important. Back to you, Jason.
Thanks, Emma. Really cool to see what people are excited about here at the show. I was just out on the show floor and ran into a good friend of the show, JC Washbish, president of the Aftermarket Auto Parts Alliance, to see what's on his radar and what he's looking forward to here at AAPEX 2024. Let's hear what he had to say. JC, good to see you. Thanks for letting us corner you here at Joe's Garage for a few questions.
Good to be here.
All right, what's your big view of AAPEX here? What kind of trends and topics are you talking a lot about and tracking?
Well, first, just the traffic at the show this year is incredible. I mean, we are really post-pandemic, aren't we?
We are.
It's great to see the movement, the machinations. I think this morning, Wednesday morning, a lot of hope. I mean, winds of change are blowing. I think I was watching the market this morning. It's rallying strong. I think that's good for business. Finally, this terrible election's behind us.
Yeah.
So now the consumer has a little more certainty, and I think that's going to help us with business and it's really enhanced the fervor on the show floor today.
Yeah, talking with a lot of the manufacturers and suppliers on the floor already, and there was a lot of optimism for 25, so now post-election we can get rolling here.
Yeah, just get back to work.
Right.
Do what we do, which is buy and sell auto parts and distribute auto parts, and I think that's where everybody here is collectively. It's a sigh of relief. It's over. Let's get back to our day jobs.
Well, one of the things you do have going on here, the Automotive Parts Services Group has a big presence here at the show. Can you tell me about that and the efforts going on?
Yeah, so APSG decided that this would be a fantastic year to host our national conference, bringing the Pronto Network, Federated Auto Parts, and the Aftermarket Auto Parts Alliance to AAPEX as part of their national conference. The decision was made. It was an easy decision. All of the vendor, manufacturer, suppliers are here. They've made incredible investments in their booths, in the technology, and their displays, and more importantly, their key personnel are here. So let's bring our guys, our gals, and meet with our partners here at this great show. This way we can accomplish so much more than a standalone meeting. We will still have standalone meetings, a great benefit there, but this really felt like the right time to unify ourselves with the industry.
Yeah, well, you had a great conference breakfast this morning, and a lot going on. You mentioned that too at AAPEX, business gets done, right? It's not just a show, they come and see everything. You get to do that, but business actually gets done. So it's really cool.
A lot of business. We started on Sunday morning with AWDA and our one-on-one meetings. We had hundreds, and there was like 2,400 meetings this week with APSG distributors.
That's right.
And channel partners. 2,400.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of meetings. It's a lot of manpower and a lot of opportunity for the vendors to sell their parts and a lot of opportunity for us to come and see, hey, what do these channel partners, these vendors have on display? Future technologies. How can we be more efficient? What do we need to know about? And that's the value of the show continues to exceed expectations.
Yeah, and it kind of sets a nice foundation for going into a new year, right? You've alluded to it a little bit, and we're going to get back to work. We're past some of this uncertainty. Looking at 25, what do you have your sights set on?
Collision's a big thing. ADAS, that's still a driving factor. 7-8 years ago, we would have been talking about the connected vehicle and autonomous. That's sort of waned. 2 years ago, it was EV everything. That's waned. Those winds of change have blown also. So I think right now it's more business as usual. Technologies are getting better. There are new things that we need to be aware of, and a lot of it for our guys would be efficiencies. How can we be more efficient in the bay? And then also it's fitting that we're down here in Joe's Garage. Collectively as a unit in 2025, you're going to see a lot more discussion with our show partners, whether it's the Auto Care Association or MEMA or the manufacturer partners or us distributors. How can we get more young men and women attracted to the trade? The trade craft of being a professional technician. And I think the big emphasis last year was right to repair. That is not gone. Right. We still need to win that fight. But in addition to that fight, we need qualified technicians now more than ever. And man, this is no longer is mechanical. It's mechanical, but man, you need to be a rocket science. This is crazy. Yeah. So that's why Joe's Garage is so important here, because this will show young men and women it's more than just turning a wrench, right? It's writing lines of code, it's understanding diagnostics, a lot of great tool suppliers down here. So I think 2025 will be a pivotal year in how do we upgrade our thinking to enlist our skill set to attract more talent to this industry.
Right. Very good. Well, JC, thanks for stopping by and giving us a view, and we look forward to talking to you more.
Pleasure's mine. Have a great show, folks.
Big thanks to JC for taking the time to give us his perspective on this year's show. We have headlines coming at you now. Emma Henderson, AMN Managing Editor and Producer, has the story. Emma, take it away.
Thanks, Jason. First, Nexamotion Group is celebrating after 2 of their employees take home big awards. Anna Gluck, who serves as Nexamotion's Chief Human Resource Officer, was honored by Women in Auto Care for being one of their 2024 champions. She expressed the importance of showing up for the industry and empowering women to get involved when she accepted the award. Also accepting an award was Mo Ali from Nexamotion-owned Arch Auto Parts. He is this year's Counter Professional of the Year. Ali began at Arch when he was just 15 years old and worked his way up to Vice President of Sales. We also caught up with Aishin Corporation while it announced its newest venture, an America-focused aftermarket company called Aishin Aftermarket and Service of America Incorporated. Restructuring is supposed to happen in April of 2025 and was made possible in part due to the company merging together AAPEX, an Aishin company focused on transmission remanufacturing, and the aftermarket business unit of Aishin World Corporation of America. The goal is to create a more agile company, believing it will give them more opportunity while also benefiting customers and suppliers. Back to you, Jason.
A lot going on here at the show. One of the growing topics is sustainability. There's a sustainability stage where they're doing education, and we had Allison Jones, Senior Vice President of the Global Circular Economy for Stellantis, stop by the Babcock's On the Go at the Show broadcast studio here, presented by Aishin, to talk to us about sustainability and what it means to the automotive aftermarket. Let's see what she had to say. Allison, thanks for taking the time. Great to talk with you.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
So sustainability, this is a really big topic now in the automotive aftermarket. There's a sustainability stage upstairs that there's doing education on, right? And that people are gathering around. So let's lay some groundwork here. From your view, what's the lowest hanging fruit to move toward greater sustainability in the automotive aftermarket?
There's many different options, but the lowest hanging would be, okay, how do I take something, we say, how do you use less material, use it for longer, and then when you can't do that, recycle. So you think about the low hanging fruit, so repair. We've had repair in the automotive industry for a long time, but can we repair more products? Can we repair some of the later parts that maybe we've not considered before? And then remanufacturing.
Right.
So they would be the 2 areas that we would focus on.
Right, and that kind of leads toward this word circularity, which I'm hearing more. What is that, and how do you see that playing out or even growing here in the aftermarket?
So circularity can have different forms. So designing for circular economy. So how do you design a product, a vehicle, a part, so that at the point you need to repair it or remanufacture it or recycle it, it's easier to do. So less different mixes of material, easier to access parts to be able to do it. That's the theory, and that will take years to do because you're trying to develop from what we've got. And then in terms of what we've got now, circularity, how do you take the products we've got now, and once you can't extend the life of them through remanufacturing, through repair, how do you take that material, because that's what it becomes, right, and put it through a process so that you can then use it again in other automotive products, vehicles or parts. That is a circular loop. That's the easiest way to explain it.
Right, so it's kind of almost like the aftermarket supply chain needs to go, like in reverse, it needs to go back upstream. So instead of throwing the rotor away or doing whatever it is I do with it, there's a process to kind of get that back to the people and recycle it that could, like you said, use the material or reman it or anything like that.
And reuse it. So we've got examples where, as an industry, we say we recycle, and we do recycle, but it'll go out of the industry. Okay, so it goes out. But if you think about, we need material to continue to build vehicles, build parts, then can you get it as a true circle within automotive? And alloy wheels is a great example, right? You can take old alloy wheels, put them through a process to get back to the pure material again, to be able to put it into a foundry, to reuse it in automotive. They're all examples of circles, literally getting that material to flow round the automotive industry.
Right, kind of augmenting or improving your own supply chain of materials there. Well, and Stellantis has a pledge, I believe it's 40% green materials in vehicles by 2030. Is that correct?
For any vehicle launched from 2030, it'll have 40% green material within it. Yeah.
Okay, so what does that mean for the aftermarket, right? And what does that mean for you all as a company to try to develop that circularity?
So it's getting enough material to be able to achieve a 40% green. It's green because it's a mixture of recycled and biosourced material into those products. So in the aftermarket, thinking about when you've finished with that part or that component, when you've got to the end of it, taking that material and then sending it back to us as an OEM or having a trade with an OEM to say, okay, we can take that material, we can get it back into its purer forms to be able to then use it in new vehicles that are then launched from 2030.
Out of curiosity, would that be materials that only originated from you as the manufacturer and supplier, or are you interested in all
We're
and
interested
anything
in
and
all.
everything?
So it's all. So we have said it's green material.
Okay.
So you have a choice. You know, you get it from our own products, from
Right.
our own ecosystem, if you like, of our suppliers or our dealers. You know, there's a lot of material out in dealers, or from other industries, or working with suppliers who can say, look, I can build you something as different components and it will have X% green material within it. So it's all in every source. And if you think about the plastic industry, it's quite a hot topic because on the food side, retail side, they're also being challenged to use recycled material in the single-use, what were single-use plastics. So then you've got industries competing with each other. Say, how can I get recycled content into my new products?
Right. Really interesting. If we take a step back then, we'll talk about everyone's favorite topic when it comes to sustainability, regulation, which is always an exciting topic for everybody. There is a lot of there's regulation out there right now, there's regulation that's coming down the line. How do you see regulation impacting sustainability efforts or perhaps motivating them?
So we try and stay always, as Stellantis, try and stay ahead of regulation, because if you're being pushed, it can be really difficult to achieve. So some of our targets that you've spoken about are saying, okay, stay ahead. But the practicalities are different countries, different regions of the world have different regulation. But what will happen on a practical level is that saying you should have X% recycled content or green content in your new products to enable them to go on the market. So that's the practical challenge for suppliers to automotive, to manufacturers of automotive. And then if you take the hot topic of high voltage batteries, already we see in Europe that there was a percentage of material, so the different precious metals, they are doubling. Also already. So you think about that at a time when we're trying to manufacture more batteries to increase the number of electric vehicles on the road, you've also got a regulation saying, and you've got to increase the recycled content. So to your earlier point, well, where do we get that? We can get a certain amount from our own batteries or from the industry, but others have got to come from somewhere else as well. At the same time, we're trying to extend the life of those batteries so that they last longer.
That's right.
Because there's value in them. So it becomes a complicated maths game.
Is there, from that dollars and cents of it, is there an efficiency play there? Because I think about, now of course there's always kind of that upfront cost of like getting the circularity, getting that infrastructure in place, right? But if you look on return on investment and long-term investment there, do you see like a business efficiency play then in that supply chain?
Yes, you can have that. So some things are really complicated to get back to their purest form. Somebody said it's like mixing a cake, right? You put all the ingredients in. Once you've got all the ingredients in it, you can't get them back out. That's where the design comes in. So design something so that you can pull it apart. Don't use so many different grades of steel or aluminum or plastics, and so that will take time to happen. But in terms of what we have now, remanufactured parts, then people go, well, what's that? As a regular customer, what is that? Well, that's a part that was your original part that had been stripped down, cleaned, we don't know, and then built back good as new. And for customers, that's 80% less, up to 80% less raw material, up to 50% non-emitted CO2. But as a customer, it's less expensive because you're not drawing all that original raw material. Yes, you have to put it through a process of reverse engineering. But once you have that, it's a solution that's really affordable to the same quality as an original part, and that's the economics of it that works for the business and it works for the customer as well, so it's really good.
Right, very good. Well, Alison, thanks so much for joining. I appreciate you taking the time.
That's okay, thank you.
That's our show, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here at AMN From the Floor, AAPEX 2024. This has been the Babcocks on the Go at the Show broadcast studio, brought to you by Aishin. I'm Jason Morgan, your host, and I will see you next time.